in the Honorable House of Assembly, the minister responsible for agriculture. Well, the minister responsible for agriculture is on the floor, and of course, my spiritual advisor. Who is the minister responsible for agriculture?
You're asking me. I don't know. I can't remember.
His name is Jomo Campbell. And Jomo Campbell is the member of parliament for Centerville. And when I walked away from the TV, he was waxing. Broadcasting live from the ILTV studios located here at University Drive. Welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Moncur. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I'm also a member of the local Roman Catholic Church. Bradley Roll, my spiritual advisor, he hails from the First Century Church. Bradley, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
And of course, today is Wednesday, the 12th of June, 2024. All day it's been cloudy, and there has been talk about the potential of there being a massive flood on the island of Grand Bahama, even affecting Bimini and surrounding Keys and waters, they told me. And of course, that alert is until 20 minutes to 5 today, I'm advised. But let us not forget, this is the hurricane season. On Grand Bahama, a 19-year-old lad suspected of being in love fell out with a female after a dispute. Do you believe that the love was so poisonous that it is alleged that he took pills to end his life? But praise the Lord, it was not successful, and we are advised that he shall survive it. So perhaps I will have to talk about 19-year-olds falling in love, young people falling in love, because really love is for young people, but it needs to be managed. And notwithstanding how you argue with the girl, you should not take anything designed to destroy your life and or hers. So these are some of the things that are happening here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And then, of course, a man who had been convicted of murder, the Privy Council in London has set aside his armed robbery and his murder conviction. So that is very interesting when justice does not focus objectively in bringing the charges. I might look at it, I might not, but there are many exciting stories, and therefore I shall speak now in code. To the woman at the top of the hill to the south, today I should withhold the story until you and I have a great camp meeting, if it is God's will, tomorrow. So this is powerful, and of course I have great news. A whole bank from Africa is here. The Afri-Free Exim Bank, I hope I'm pronouncing the word correctly. The Afri-Free Exim Bank is here. A bank from Africa! And I'm advised that the government of the Bahamas had some time ago signed an agreement with that bank, and now there are major talks which is taking place. This is Freedom March. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. God save the King. Afri Exim Bank from Africa, I welcome you to the diaspora, if I'm pronouncing that big word correctly. God save the King. God save the bank. We need a bank. It's powerful today. Hold on. Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker, and it's been so cloudy all day. It's been cloudy, 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 and there has been many people who have been anticipating rain. And who knows, I can only swear for the part of the island of New Providence where I was that there was no rain. I don't know what happened in the southern part of the island, like the deep south. I don't know if the people of Pinewood Gardens had any rain. I'd like to know, because normally when Pinewood Garden has rain, it means that they usually flood. So I don't know what's going on, but I want people to recognize that help and hope are on the way. But there are some exciting things that are happening in our country. I may have to rehash one or two, but I'm very concerned about reports coming out of Grand Bahama where a 19-year-old youth who apparently was deeply in love, and he and a female, they had some kind of argument, some kind of dispute, and it appears, I'm trying to be psychological now, I'm trying to be like a psychiatrist, perhaps like a psychologist, perhaps I'm trying to play sociology. And in retaliation, he took some pills, and it is now being alleged that by him taking those pills, it was an attempt by him to end his life. Now, I don't know if anybody ever told him that under the penal code of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, it's against the law. I want people to know it. It's against the law for any citizen to deliberately take his life. It's against the law. Now, the Commissioner of Police, and I don't want to criticize him on this wonderful day, I'm going to suggest that perhaps going forward, I'm going to have to advise him that he is going to have to prosecute anyone who has attempted suicide, because it's against the law, it is contrary to the penal code, and any man who attempts to kill himself must be taken to the nearest magistrate court. Charge is read to him, he enters a plea, and if he says he's not guilty, he better be able to give the court an explanation. And if the court can establish that his attempt to end his life was deliberate, he goes to prison. And then I must remind members of the public, if you aid and abet a person committing suicide, I'll give you an example. You know, there are times I get people mad, and people say, I just hope you kill yourself. That's against the law. Because if I accept your advice, you're guilty of my death. So, we have to talk about these things. It calls for education. Some people think it's a joke. But we're going to have to teach our young men that there's nothing wrong with having a lover's quarrel. And when you have a lover's quarrel, it isn't designed for you to end your life. It is designed for you and the woman to, you know, just you tell her your mind, she tell her, you know, and then afterwards you say to woman, I can't do without you, come to me. And can you imagine you killing yourself over a woman who's not your mother? Over a woman who didn't carry you 9 months? Over a woman who belly you didn't kick? My brother, I wasn't going to commit suicide for my ma, and I think I remember when I used to kick her in her belly. Okay? I do remember when I was nursing, because I nursed late. My spirit supervisor. Put the camera on him, man. I nursed. I know it's very late. My mommy will tell you that I didn't mess around. I was about 13 or 14.
Well, so not
And
cool, man.
I know it's very, very late. So
Oh,
I am
Lord.
mama's boy. I am a loving child because my mom used to say, "You don't think at 14 you should still be nice to me?"
That's incest, man.
There's nothing incestuous about that. Anyway, let me take you to the spiritual advisor, and we will deal with some religious matter. My spiritual advisor,
but-
behold the Bohemian
Yeah, but
people.
before we get to that, Santa, you know what your problem is? You haven't been to that love street before, you see?
Explain.
Santa, at the age of 26
Okay.
in my life,
Yes.
I experienced a love that I never had before.
My Lord.
And when that love went down,
What pills did you take?
reality is, Santa, there's a song, Mr. Bruce, I think there's a song that says, I can't live if living is without you.
Right.
You can fall so deeply in love.
Really?
that if that love breaks down, you don't want to live anymore. Santa.
Really?
Yeah, man. You never been there before?
No, my
It's
spiritual
called
advisor.
Love Street. See, you've never been on Love Street.
I've never been on Love Street.
Right, that's the problem.
I've been through Love Lane, though.
You've been on Lover's Lane.
Lover's Lane,
Yeah, but
Lover's
there's a
Alley.
difference.
Okay.
There's a difference between Lover's Lane and being on Love Street.
Really?
Because I could tell you, when you're on Love Street, my brother, you're stuck.
And the
Yes,
end
I'm
result,
serious, I'm
you
serious.
and the woman fall out.
If
and
that
the end
woman leaves
result,
you, you just feel as if life is not working
Really?
anymore. You know, you just don't want to move on.
okay. And
You don't want to
feel-
breathe anymore. You just don't want to sleep anymore. You don't want to eat anymore.
You don't have to sleep.
You know what I mean?
You don't have to eat plenty.
You're just in love.
Certainly, suicide is against
You
the law.
never been there before, Sandra.
No, I've always been in love.
I've been there.
No, you see this stain on my shirt?
I've been there.
Do you see this color? This,
Wh-
you know,
what?
this is love
Oh yeah,
soup.
I see it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. This is what my wife cooked for me, and the soup was so good that
Yeah.
I began to slap it, and that's powerful. Anyway, my spiritual advisor, go right ahead. Let me hear you.
Yeah, let's go to the word. We're looking at how do we forgive a brother that sins against you, and of course this is dealing with sin in the first century church. Of course, Jesus Christ is primarily his Jewish audience. He's giving them a lesson here on forgiveness. He says, now listen, if your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. And if they listen to you, you have won them over. But if they will not listen, then take one or two others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. And that's important. And if they still refuse to listen, tell it to the church. And if they refuse to listen even to the church, then treat them as you would a pagan or a tax collector. Truly I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loose in heaven. Matthew 18:15 through 18. I read from the NIV. The word of God is quick and powerful and always blessed. Amen. Thank you, producer. Back to you, Sandra.
I thank you, my spiritual advisor.
Absolutely.
Perhaps we should go to an ad, eh?
If we get one ad.
You want to do that ad now?
Money Max, is it, Mr. Producer? All right, everybody needs money, always. Send money internationally and locally through Western Union with Money Max. Download the Money Max app today to send cash instantly to family member or friend, anytime and anywhere. Sending money has never been simpler. The app is available on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Money Max, live your max life.
This is powerful.
Indeed.
And what about this? What about this thing you have on my table?
Well, it's just going to be there for display. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well,
All right.
thank you, my spiritual advisor. Well, folks, once again, we welcome you to Freedom March, and my spiritual advisor has distracted me on the issue of
Love.
and I want to know what love got to do with it.
Sandra, you know.
Why should a man and or a woman attempt suicide over the fact that there is a dispute We have to strengthen our young people. We have to strengthen our young men. We have to strengthen our young women so that they will learn that there will be lovers' quarrel, but that is not the way to end your life, and that you have to be strong and you have to be able to talk about it. I'll give you an example. There are many people who are not aware that I am a counselor. I do counsel people, and there are people who come to me from time to time seeking counsel, and the most that I can do is listen to them and say to them, I have to pray over this because their issue is such that I really need to fast and pray. We live in a world where one day I ran into a female. She appeared to be in love, but she had a problem. And what was her problem? And I was kind of shocked that at my age she would declare it. She said to me that while she was a female, there was a man trapped in her body. And for a second, I was confused. I could not understand that. So I said to her, sister, what is it that you are talking about? She said, I'm a female, but there's a whole man trapped in my body. And she didn't know what to do. So, still uncertain, I asked her to do a right about turn. And she did, because I just wanted to make sure there was no man behind her. And I said to her, I can't answer your question now. Give me 2 weeks and meet me in the front of chapter 1. That's where the University of the Bahamas has its bookstore, and I shall be able to answer you as to how to deal with this man that is trapped in her. And I told her, I don't think it was a bad idea for a woman to have a whole man trapped in her. But come and see me and we'll talk about it. So I'm still praying, I'm still fasting, and I'm certain now that I have the answer, but I don't want to give it to her on television. I want her to come see me at chapter 1 so that I can talk to her and provide her with some advice. And I think it is so challenging that in the world there are all sorts of issues. But notwithstanding that, you know, we should not kill ourselves. So the point that I want to make is that parents must talk to their sons and daughters. And if they are that much in love, we might as well marry them off early. I do believe that if you have a daughter and you find that she is so crazy over this guy and they're ready to run away, you stop them and you say, look, we're going to marry you off, and depending on who has the biggest house, you let them live with you. If you don't have too many bedrooms, well, they could live in the bathroom, sleep in the bathtub. But I don't know. I'll leave it for now. I'll look at some other issues because there are some things on my mind that I'm holding back today. But I want to look at one or two things that the government has announced. You would recall that I wanted to continue to talk about my Haitian brother, Ronnie John Charles, who has been dead from August of 2023. And we are trying to find out why is it that the police has not released his body so that his family could give him a Christian burial. And you would recall that yesterday a man did call, did offer a suggestion as to perhaps why the police is holding the body. A responsible media should have pursued the Commissioner of Police to find out Johnny John Charles has been dead from August of 2023. Why are we holding his body? And let's hear what the police say to see whether or not there could be good reason for holding the body. I really would like for the body to be released. In 1981, I and a number of young men had a meeting with the late Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling, the late Andrew Dud Maynard, the late, what's his name, Leander Minnis, and the late Berlin Pratt. 1981, it was a point when a body laying at the Princess Margaret Hospital disappeared. The body disappeared. You see, I don't want to bring back old stories because nobody remember that. I'm certain that Nicola Emmanuel Jacks will remember it because he was at the meeting. I'm certain that the former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Philip Miller, he would remember that. I am certain that Mr. Michael Ellis, younger brother whom we call Jammer would remember that because Jammer was in the meeting. So I can call a bunch of names, and we got into one debate with Pinling after we raised the issue of the disappearance of the body. We also raised the issue of how the coffin arrived in Nassau, and two things happened. Either the dead body was missing, or under the dead body was drugs. So you got to watch out for me. There are people who don't know my history, and I'm in a position to call people names and challenge them to deny my story. This is Freedom March. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The time has come for the Minister of National Security and the Commissioner of Police to tell us why they will not release my brother, Johnny John Charles' body so that he may have a Christian burial. All right? Other than that, we're going to talk about missing dead body. Welcome back to Freedom Match. My name is Rodney Monka. Bradley Wood is my spiritual advisor. Bradley, I feel the Spirit has moved me to run on.
You want to run on?
Yeah, I want to run on.
Okay, what you run on with?
Okay, may I?
About what?
Immigration.
Well, okay.
May I?
Okay.
Okay. I want people to know that in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, you have the Bahamas Immigration Services. I also want them to know that if you're paying a bill, if it is not addressed to the treasurer, it should be, if you're paying immigration, it should be addressed to the Bahamas Immigration Department. Let's say, for instance, you doubt what I just told you. I want you then to go to immigration and say to them, the money that you have asked me to pay to you, will you kindly write down the name that I must either make my check to? Very, very important, because there are hanky-pankies taking place in this country, and I really don't want to use my office as a justice of the peace to cause people to be arrested and charged for stupidity. So if you are paying money to the Bahamas government, you cannot send it to the government of Jamaica or to the government of the United States and then think they will then send the money to the Bahamas. That's stupid. Don't care who tell you that. That isn't how it's done. Money is being paid to the Bahamas government. The check must be made out to either the Bahamas government or an agency of the Bahamas government. And then I want the diplomatic community, when their citizen comes in with checks that they recognize is confusing, please don't take the check and then cash it, because I don't want to come on TV, produce the check, which I have, and then say how y'all could cash the check that was destined for the Bahamas Immigration Department. So I'm going to conceal the names of all the parties, including the embassy and or the council, and say to them that you have to take into consideration that there are many people who are ignorant, that you perhaps have many of your citizens who are ignorant. I can use me as an example. Most government agencies are aware that I'm ignorant. So when I show up and I say, now, who to make the check out to? They take their time and they assist me because they realize that I'm not as well educated, and they would like for me to pay the government money correctly. Out of the $1,300, there was only $1,000 that belonged to the government. The $1,000 was for immigration. The other $300 is not my business. So let's say y'all want teeth that. Well, stealing is against the law. But if y'all want to steal that, I wouldn't get in that. But I really don't want you to take the immigration money. So you got to watch out for me. I am aware of many things, but I pretend most of my life that I don't know what is going on. And it becomes unfair when the person is educated that there has been a mistake, that the bank who prepared the check then start acting dishonestly. The bank must never act dishonestly. Any person who comes and asks for a banker's check, the bank must never say, we don't know who cashed the check. That is dishonest. But I'm going to let the bank get away because the person who the bank was dishonest to happens to be a Negro person. So I'm going to forgive the bank for being dishonest to that Negro person. Now the bank is not aware that at all material time, from the day the person walked into the bank, guess where I was? I was in the office of the Prime Minister. See, the bank ain't know that. But that's where I was, right in the office of the Prime Minister. So, it is regrettable that that Negro person had to now recognize that the $1,000 didn't go to immigration. And I thank God that they were able to find $1,000 and pay the government of the Bahamas its $1,000, while a foreign government appears to have walked away with $1,300, $1,000 belonging to the Immigration Department. But we will forget that because that person, I made it clear that the person said, you got to pay that $1,000. That ain't my business. You have to pay the government the $1,000. So you see, Alfred says, would not have known that, but I am aware of it because I have copies of the banker's check. And when they brought it to me, I happens to be in the office of the Prime Minister that day. That is as much as I'm going to say, other than to say to everybody, listen, if you owe the Bahamas government, you cannot make the check to a foreign government, to your government. You can't do it that way. That isn't how it's done. No matter who tell you that, I tell you it isn't done that way. I'm going to leave that alone, all right? There's no need for me to expose the bank, and there's no need for me to embarrass the person who was a victim, who just trusts. And the bank has a duty when citizens come forward and say, I trying to pay the Department of Immigration and whatever else they add. The bank is to question the person and make sure that they understand what they're doing and that the bank understand clearly what is to be done. Yeah, immigration on it, but it ain't Bahamas immigration. All right? We'll leave that alone. And wherever Alfred says is, I want him to give me a shout out because I made sure that the government got the money, and this is powerful.
But Senator, if you owe the government and you want to pay them directly, wouldn't you make the check payable to the public treasury? Isn't that another way to pay the government?
That's one way. You can do it to the public treasury. Mm-hmm. You can do it to a Pacific government ministry or agency. Okay. It will go in the consolidated funds.
Okay, yeah. So if I owe Bahamas Customs, I can make the check payable to Bahamas Customs?
You can.
Or should it be made payable to the public treasury?
You may also do that.
Oh, okay, so that's an alternative. Okay.
Yeah. Right. You may.
But I can't make the check payable to the Haitian embassy.
Well, I would have no problem with that, right? But certainly that would be improper.
You don't have no problem with that.
Mes amis! Marie. All right? So that would be improper.
Oh, okay.
All right? And I'll have you to know that these people were not Haitians.
No, just using this example.
I just want you to know that.
I was just using
the Haitians, we have been getting papers so long in the Bahamas, we know exactly where to pay our money. Yeah, I'll have you to know it was not Haitians. Okay? We have been getting papers in the Bahamas for about 100 years. We know exactly where are the immigration.
And some of those papers we need to check.
Yes.
Because some of them ain't legit.
That isn't true.
I'm telling you.
Take it from me. you
Anyway.
find one that isn't legit.
Anyhow,
Okay? Now, you get you want to run on?
that's a subject for another day. Let's move on to some
Okay.
other things.
So, folks, there are good news that is coming from the Parliament. You'll recall that just the other day, the minister responsible for energy, that is Jobette Colby Davis, she spoke, and over a matter of days, we began to hear the policy of the Bahamas government unfolding as it relates to BPL, as it relates to cutting down on the cost of electricity, and as it relates to ensuring that we do receive on a timely basis efficient electricity. And I think that is very, very important. I take note that certain union officials which are associated with the electrical company are complaining that they have not been consulted with reference to the government's forward thrust on dealing with BPL. And I try to figure out how is that possible, taking into consideration that Kyle Wilson is one of the trade unionists leading up to the 2021 general election, who participated in a memorandum of understanding with the then opposition Progressive Liberal Party. And I do know it, and I do know that Kyle Wilson, he and his leadership had organized pro-matches. I don't want to be as bold and say it because I really want to make sure that my facts are correct. But I did march with them one day because they ended up in Black Village. For most of you, you might not be aware that BPL is in Black Village. And so they marched in support of the Progressive Liberal Party. And since I was in a position to influence the direction they were heading, I then ensure that they march through Black Village so that my community could see that the workers had joined forces with the PLP. So there ought to be that memorandum of understanding, and I fail to understand how is it that the PLP as a party is not living up to the memorandum of understanding with BPL workers and other trade unions, and apprising them or praising them. Help me with the word. Which word is the word I should use? Appraising, or briefing them on what is taking place. So I'm kind of disturbed about that. And I'll have people to know that Kyle Wilson, I have always regarded him as a personal friend, and we've had a wonderful relationship over the last couple of years. And so I have a duty to find out from him, what is it that is troubling the union, and what is it that they felt that the government should have advised them about that they have not been advised about. I do think that I have a very good relationship with the minister responsible for energy, and I do know that I have a good relationship with Prime Minister Philip Davis. So I need to speak to the union, because the union is very powerful, and we can never let the union down. For the union make us strong, and we have to continue to maintain solidarity. And I also want to remind the governing Progressive Liberal Party that the PLP is the workers' party. It is the party of the small man. It is the party of the common man. And the trade union must remember where the PLP headquarters is. Every day, if you were to go at Lyndon Pinling Center, there is a staff present of PLP officials, and perhaps it's time that union leaders visit those officials and complain to the party. There is a separation between government and party, and I think that perhaps the union should start at the party level. There are many people who are not aware of the power of the political party. The Free National Movement demonstrated that on the 1st of June when Dr. Hubert Minnis attempted to regain power, and the delegates to the one-day convention demonstrated the power of the party by rejecting him. For had he won that election, he then, as leader of the Free National Movement, constitutionally would have placed him in a position that should the FNM ever be returned to power, and he is the leader of the party, he would automatically become prime minister. But the party stopped him. Well, the Progressive Liberal Party has a National General Council. It has many, many stalwarts. And while they are scattered over the archipelago of the Bahamas, they are politically alert. And I do know, because from time to time I am blessed when I do attend the many party branches of the PLP, that I run into stalwart councils, and they are constantly on alert. They're watching their ministers, they're watching their party officers, and they are demanding accountability and transparency. And while many persons may never have tried it, it is always a good idea to go and find members of the Stalwart Council. And don't mind, many of them might have matured in age. They are strong and they understand the party politics better than these young people. Because many of these young people will not go to branch meeting. Many of these young people may not attend council. But I'll tell you something about mama them. Mama them, they go to council. Papa them, they go to council. And them woman them, they so organized. And many of them, they got hard toe. They know exactly where to stick their big toe. If some younger person comes to the council meeting of the PLP and is getting out of line. So I would want the BPL union to try it. One day, a delegation should call on Ms. Lula Mae Smith. She ensures that the office of the party is constantly open and running. And when you go to Lula Mae, you go with a petition. You tell her, these are our demands. And you say to her, we petition you to have this put before the National General Council of the PLP. Because one of the mistakes that we make in politics is after a party comes to power, we think that the party has lost power because from the party a government is formed. That is not true. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis can only remain Prime Minister as long as he has the support of the party. That's it. Now, unlike Michael Pintard, who's leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard can remain as leader of the FNM and get fired as leader of the opposition because he needs the elected representatives to support him. If you recall, in 2006, when Deason Loretta Butler overthrew Dr. Minnis, she got rid of him as leader of the opposition, but he remained as leader of the FNM. But in the case of the Prime Minister, he can only be leader as long as he is in charge and has the support of the party. And this is what trade unionists have to learn. You have to learn how to maneuver. So if you are displeased with the government, there's the party. See, the party has a great political responsibility because they have to constantly watch to make sure that the party is not losing power. They have to constantly monitor the government to make sure that the members of parliament, the ministers of the government, the parliamentary secretaries, the senators are not doing and conducting businesses in such a manner that causes the people to revolt against the party. And that is the mistake that is being made. So I thought today I should point that out, that we have to learn to utilize the party. Now, I've seen in the FNM where, in the case of Richard Johnson, he's not a trade unionist, but he is a member of the FNM. It is alleged that he went to the party and they drop kick him. Perhaps they drop kick him because they recognize that he was a faker and a fraud. But if a trade unionist or a trade union organization or a benevolent society shows up at a political party to petition and to complain, that will never happen. That will never happen. If that happens, then it tells you that that organization is suicidal. So I call on BPL to prepare a petition and march to the PLP headquarters. There, Ms. Lula Mae Smith is there every day, and I'm smiling because she has 2, 3, 4 huge container with nice refreshment. And after a wonderful march, shucks, if you're, well, I can't march. Y'all will have to put me like on the back of a truck or in a car because my legs no longer march. Once you get there, Lula Mae, one thing with her, she's finding something to put in your hand or something to put in your mouth. So let's have fun and let's go to the PLP headquarters and tell Lula Mae Smith that we have come to look for the PLP. Isn't that wonderful? And that's the way the democracy is done. And who knows, you perhaps can, when you take the petition to Lula Mae Smith, you can say to her that you have come to demand that the National General Council of the Progressive Liberal Party holds a meeting to hear your complaint about the government, because it's the party that makes the government accountable. Take it from me, none of the members of the governing Progressive Liberal Party could have been a candidate if they were opposed by the National General Council of the PLP. That's real politics that we don't think about. And many times when we see our grandmas, our great-grandmothers, our fathers, our uncles saying, child, how you get me to this meeting, eh? Because I don't want no foolishness tonight. They have real power. They determine who's going to be the prime minister. They determine who's going to be the deputy prime minister. And if you push them, they will also determine who the prime minister selects as ministers and as senators. So I hope when I hear from Kyle Wilson, he's trying out one of my political suggestions, which is grab the workers, march to the PLP headquarters, and demand to see Ms. Lula Mae Smith, and say to Ms. Lula Mae Smith, we have come in search of the National General Council. That's democracy. And these things are done peacefully, it's done orderly, there's no need for obscenity, there's no need for no row, you ain't got a case, and I think it's powerful. So having said that, my spiritual advisor, do you want to comment?
We're coming to the end of the segment. So
Really? This is powerful.
on the other side.
Okay. So folks, these are some of the things that are happening in our country because the government is now moving swiftly to strengthen BBL and to make good provision where we will have electricity and have electricity at a reasonable price. I don't care who owns BPL as long as my light bill is affordable. That's all I want. I want to be able to, that's all. Okay? There's a freedom march. God save the Commandant of the Bahamas. God save BPL. God save the Union. God save the PLP. Let us go to the headquarters and demand to see the National General Council of the PLP. Let's tell Mama them what the problem is. They know how to handle it. It's powerful today. Hold on, everybody.
The votes are in and the convention is finished.
The F&M convention.
Oh, shoots.
Certain things I want to mention
Lord have mercy.
about the F&M convention.
Only they let the devil fool you.
Oh, you with mayonnaise.
Yeah, what's up, doc?
Convention is finished. Look like you get.
Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monka. Bradley Road is my spiritual advisor. Do you have any birthdays, Bradley?
Yeah, we do have a couple birthdays today, Santa. So let's do these birthday shout outs.
Okay.
Who's first? We want to wish a special happy birthday to Verlene Knowles. She's one of the women that I'm understanding.
This is powerful.
And she's a Grammy.
Really?
85 years old, Sandra.
Today?
She's 85.
Wow.
They call her Nosy. It's coming from your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, the Rockdale crew in Rollville. Oh, okay. Your church family and all those who love you. Have a blessed day. Grammy Berlin Knowles. Wow, 85. It's a wonderful age. And then Kashan Ambrista celebrates a birthday today. Kashan Ambrista is in Atlanta. Greetings is coming from her mom, Krista, her daughter, brothers, and her grandmother, Esther Stewart, brothers and Beverly cousins, Ina Rule, and Meredith, Jahade, and Jaden Henfield in Freeport. Enjoy your day, Kashanda. All the best to you. Dimitri Clare. I'd like to send a happy birthday shout out to his son, Dimitri Clare in Nassau. It's coming from your family in Broward and Nassau, especially your mom, Shami. Says she loves you. Happy birthday to Dimitri Clare. Kalicia Thompson is celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to my niece, Kalicia Thompson. It's coming from her son, Kaylin, her sisters, brothers, family and friends, especially her aunt, Shirley Panzer. Enjoy, special day. They love you a lot. All the best to you. And we want to do a special shout out to Kaylee Colley. Send a congratulatory message. Congratulations goes out to Kelly. It's pronounced Kaylee, sorry. Colley on her graduation from 6th grade from the Great Temple Christian Elementary School. Okay, all the best to you, Kaylee, and congratulations, okay? Okay, Salutatorian Leadership Award, the Principal's Honor Roll, and Head Girl. Okay, they were the awards she got? All right, okay, the Salutatorian Leadership Award, the Principal's Honor Roll, Head Girl, Club Award, Choir, Recorder, Brownies, Ladies Club, and Echo Club. Girl, you're decorated. Congratulations, man. All the best to you. You're doing well, and keep on keeping on. Okay, so Makia Bethel. Congratulations to Makia Bethel for making honor roll at St. Francis Joseph School. It's coming from your parents, Anwan Brenda, your Grammy Daphne, your Uncle Christopher, and Sister Victoria. Job well done. Congratulations, Makia Bethel. You have anything, Sandra?
No, my spiritual advisor, other than I wish to join you in wishing a happy birthday to everyone who celebrates a birthday today. God bless you. And if today is a day that you celebrate an anniversary, I say happy anniversary to you. It's powerful.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we're finished with that.
Yeah, we're done.
Great. Well, in the House of Assembly, the Education Minister, Mrs. Glenys Hannah Martin, has made a wonderful contribution to the debate. She has told us about the improvement of many of our students. You would recall that during COVID-19, Dr. Minnis was unsuccessful, him and Jeff Lloyd, in setting up the internet, whereby those students who were unable to attend school should have been able to be educated at home, but things collapsed. The world was under a threat. And then, of course, we do know that Minnis was very inefficient, very incompetent, and so did Jeff Lloyd. So let's look at some of the things that this Minister of Education is reporting. So graduation rate sees 14% increase. Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin said the graduation rate increased by 14% compared to the previous academic year after government approved changes to the Bahamas High School diploma. A 24-member National Review Commission recommended crediting more students with different learning styles and priorities. Among other things, the type of BJC passes needed for students to get a diploma was changed, and the requirement for 27 credit hours was removed. Punctuality and attendance rate requirements were reduced from 90 to 80%, and the parent-teacher conferences were removed as a criterion. Mrs. Hannah Martin gave a comprehensive overview of the public education system during her contribution to the House of Assembly's budget debate. She said over 300 educators will be used to counter the global teacher shortage. She also said her ministry will hire 100 teacher aides for special education, pre-primary, pre-vocational, and generalist area. Well, it's pre-primary and pre-vocational and generalist area. She said the ministry is getting teachers trained to deal with children of special needs, with 14 teachers completing their master's degree in special education at Barry University in December, and the ministry partnered with that university and teachers. After Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis announced salary review for public service workers, Mrs. Hannah Martin said she is confident this will result in enhanced salaries and benefits for administrators and teachers. She expects 90 people to be promoted to administrators before or during the next academic year. Additionally, Glenys Hannah Martin said students in the next academic year will get an indigenous Bahamian history textbook to enhance their knowledge of Bahamian culture. The integration of Junkanoo into the school curriculums expected as well. She said in November, students from pre-primary through high school will benefit from this, and students will focus on Junkanoo during April, with April 15 observed as Cultural Month. She said the ministry will also address long-standing infrastructural issues throughout the country, noting that there are structural, plumbing, and electoral concerns related to decaying campuses around the country. So it's a wonderful report from Glenys Hannah Martin, and today I would have told you about my uncle, businessman Forrester Bowe, who wants to make a donation to a special program for young girls. On Wolf Road, there is a place called TAPS. That's the abbreviation today. I had to go see them because my uncle wants to make a $500 donation, and I needed to know precisely who should the check be made out to and how it ought to be done. So I was excited to visit this school. I was kind of disturbed that it appears that garbage is not being moved on a regular basis. And so I would hope that whoever is working in environment would ensure that the garbage is moved. And I took my time before I entered the principal office to look around, and I've made certain assessments an assessment which I shall WhatsApp to the minister responsible for national security, because I want to draw to his attention an observation which I think he and the police should move quickly to deal with. But I was excited to go to the school because, you know, my uncle has told me a couple of days ago, come for the money, but I wanted to make sure where it was going. And so they have a wonderful program. They're helping young girls who perhaps may have had one or two issues in their schools, and they are sent there, you know, for training, for socialization. But the public needs to become more involved, particularly the Women Civic Organization. I think they have a number of women groups. I think they got one called Hunter. Is there a woman group called Hunter?
I'm not aware of that.
Or Zonta?
I think I heard about that.
Right.
The Zonta Club.
The Zonta Club. Perhaps the Zonta Club. We need to direct the Zonta Club because they're dealing with women issues that are irrelevant. If they were to visit TAPS, they will find young girls who need proper guidance, who need, some of them come from homes where there's no electricity. Some of them come from homes where there's no plumbing. Some of them come from homes where there is suspicion as to whether or not they're getting food on time. And of course, these are females. And these adult women, they have been trapped in things that are irrelevant. And it is my hope and prayer that Zonta and the other woman group would visit TAPS and see how they could make a contribution to helping to socialize these young Negro girls. Failing to give a helping hand will cause these girls to fall within the crack. But it's a wonderful program, but they need help. So I'm going to call on members of the public to visit. I want the women organization to visit. The microwave ain't working good. Certainly they should be able to warm their food. You need to visit it. Certainly there should be toiletries for the girls. Certainly there must be some women who can go to talk to these young girls, to socialize them, and to help them to advance to a level of maturity. So that is what is happening there. Now I'm in a position, if it's God's will, to go see my uncle Forrester Bow and to report to him that, Uncle, I know precisely where this money should be taken. So I want members of the public to visit the institution. Listen to me. It's opposite AID on Wolf Road. I think in the late 50s, early 70s, there was a government school there. I can't remember if it was the Eastern Senior or Eastern Prep, because although I'm old, I'm young. But it's an institution of young women, and they do need the Christian maturity of the senior woman them. And so I'm going to call on Zonta and them to abandon the worldly position. Don't get into these funny talks. Let's get into the institution. Let's teach them the culture. Let's teach them Christianity. Let's teach them how to be decent, responsible young women. And then let's ensure that they can read good. All right? It's a wonderful institution. The staff are committed, but resources are needed. And in the process, sometimes they are forgotten. But I found a security problem. I'm certain I'm not the only Negro who would have detected it. And I must confess that when I went there with critical eyes. I went there and I said, now let me see what isn't working. And I was kind of disturbed. I'm certain that the Commissioner of Police, when I would have told him, he will support me 100%. And I'm certain that when the Minister of National Security is aware, he will also join in the support. But it's a wonderful institution, so we thought we'll say that. My spiritual advisor, I've dominated the show so far.
That's fine, though.
What's
That's
on
fine.
your mind?
That's fine. Not much now, though. We just fall into some of the main events. There's something that's coming out of PPL, though.
Go ahead.
Mr. Russo, put that photo up. I think they're saying that they're going to be helping payments out as far as the electricity bill is concerned.
Okay.
Once this privatization goes down, the first 200 kilowatts of your electricity bill will be forgiven.
The first 200
kilowatts.
Now, my problem, my spiritual advisor.
I don't know if this is.
You see, somebody's going to have
What
this-
does that mean, though? What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Well, we have to find somebody who could teach me that, because I never knew what. When I heard about
That's how they measure the usage by kilowatt.
by
Kilowatt per hour.
kilowatts. Okay, you're gonna have to. Why don't you research it?
Yeah.
And when we come back,
Look at it tomorrow.
let us be
More prepared.
and more informed.
So if you're doing, let's just say you're doing what, 800 kilowatts a month? I'm assuming that you'll just be charged for 600 kilowatts.
Well, I don't want to comment on it since I don't know what the hell
You don't
is
know what kilowatt
kilowatts.
is?
No. I'm going to have to
It's a
summons
measurement for
my
the amount of
childhood
electricity.
friend. I have a childhood friend. His name is Philip Micklewhite. Anybody see Philip Micklewhite? Tell him I say, come to Black Village, come teach me about the kilowatts, because Philip Micklewhite was an expert at reading meter.
Right.
And he would be the best person to educate me.
So it does seem as if PPL is seem as if it's going to be privatized, because there's going to be a 60-40 ratio as far as stake is concerned.
Is that privatization?
It has to be. All right. So when you look at the Bahamas Power and Light now, I'm thinking the Bahamas government owns what, 100% of it right now.
I'm not sure who owns PPL.
Right now, as you speak, I'm just thinking
Okay.
that the Bahamas government probably owns 100% stake in it.
Really?
I'm not sure, but that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So it seems as if they're leaning more towards privatizing it as far as the generation or generating of the electricity.
Well, I don't
is
mind
concerned.
as long as they give it to Sir
But look at the
Franklin
ratio.
Wilson.
Look at the ratio of 60-40. The Bahamas government is only interested in 40% of it,
Okay.
and the group that's going to manage and run it will have 60%.
I don't mind as long as Sir Franklin Wilson gets it.
What does that mean, though, for public shares or for the?
Are they offering any shares to members of the public?
We'll have to look at it and see.
Well, that's the point I'm making, my spiritual
So
advisor.
tomorrow
Let's-
we'll look at it.
No, look at it tonight.
Let's examine
And
it.
come prepare to
60-40.
tomorrow.
But
Whatever they
60-40
do,
Yeah, but it does seem as if the government only is interested in 40% of it, that they're privatizing it.
my spiritual advisor, is that really privatization?
I think so.
What is privatization?
The government is not. The government
Let's
doesn't
look at
want to get
BTC.
involved.
Let's look at BTC. What share did Ingram sold to the foreigners?
With BTC?
Yeah.
Was it 51?
Remember
49?
what Javago
Well, don't
Lang
get about
taught
that.
us.
What? No, he was saying 49 and 50 ain't no difference, eh?
Remember what Javago
49
Lang
and 50
taught
was the same
us?
thing?
Javago Lang taught us that
49
49%
and 51%.
and
It's the same
51%
thing.
is equal. And when Minnis came to power, he didn't give him no nomination. Most people are not aware why Minnis was reluctant to give him a nomination, because Minnis didn't like Javago's maths. But I like it.
But where did that 2% go, though?
The 2%, don't forget, there were 2% that should have gone to an organization to assist perhaps young people. We have to look at it.
Remember, Perry Christie had mentioned about the 2% going to some
A special fund
Right.
to assist with young people. Now, one of the problems that we have developed in the country is the PLP came to power and will not share with us the secret of Mr. Ingram. It's the same way the PLP has refused to share with us the secret of Dr. Hubert Minnis. So we have that thing out there downtown, and we don't know what happened to the Yes Foundation. And the Yes Foundation represented youth, education, and sports, and 2% of the gross income was supposed to be donated to the Yes Foundation. Nobody has told us yet whether or not the Yes Foundation has been established, that's one, and two, whether or not the monies are being paid. Well, you know, as a Negro man, I've come to getting used to people not educating me. So that's what's going on there. So I think you should better prepare yourself.
Yeah, so we'll look at it tomorrow.
Yeah, and then we are able to deal with that. Glennis Hannah Martin also reported that violence in our high school has decreased. So I found that very interesting in view of the fact, you see, I can't get over it. And since I'm very, very sick, I just speak in my mind. You see, when you're very, very sick, there's nothing anybody could do with you because you could die any day, any minute. So I'm just saying these things. So these are the confessions of a man who thinks he's dying. And so Glennis Hannah Martin now tells us that the violence has decreased. And I wonder what has contributed to the decrease in violence in our school when overall in the society where these Negro students come from, there is lots of violence. Just last night I was being briefed on a Negro man from the inner city who had been executed, and I was so shocked because I really thought it wasn't him, and they attempted to convince me that it was him. And I still maintain my position. I'm not in a state of denial, but I don't know. I'm going to have to ask urban renewal police officers to take me to his house. I have to go to his house and ask his family. If it is true what I was told last night, that he was executed, I refuse to believe that. It was so ghoulish, it was so scary that I argued. I said no, and they insisted it is him. But I'm not in a state of denial, but I cannot believe it is a true story. That is one man. I will not believe it unless I put my hand on his dead body. This is Freedom March. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The Education Minister has given us two wonderful reports. Violence has decreased in our high schools. We'll be right back after the break. Hold on, everybody. Welcome back to Freedom Match. My spiritual advisor is Bradley Rule, and of course, we are going to do one or two more shout-outs. Bradley?
Yeah, let's do it quickly. One or two shout-outs to all the graduates from St. Augustine's College. We want to do a special shout-out to you, but let's do this one in particular first before we get to the SAC grads. We want to send a special shout-out to this young man. We understand that he's graduated from the he's graduated from what school is that now, young man? Forgive me. But anyhow, congratulations to Torio Paul Higgs, 2024 graduate in Canada. Shout out to Paul Higgs, who graduated from Niagara College today. He's coming from his mother, former police constable Latoya Higgs, his little brother Owen Higgs Jr. and his family, and all those who supported and encouraged him on his journey. They love you, and they're very proud of you. Torio Paul Higgs, 2024 graduate from the Niagara College, which of course is located in Canada. All the best to you, and all the best to you in your future endeavors. Torio Paul Higgs. All right, so we want to send a special shout out to all the SAC graduates, especially, let's do this one here quickly, especially, I'm so sorry, I lost it, forgive me. Ms. Medusa, where am I? Yeah, Cairo, or Cairo? Sorry about Cairo Bastian. Forgive me, Mr. Bastian. I lost it temporarily. Congratulations, you're coming from your dad and your family and all those who love you. Special shout out to you. You graduated from St. Augustine's College. You did well. Your father's proud of you, and he wants you to know that he loves you. Cairo Bastian, congratulations. Graduated from St. Augustine's College. All right, and then of course we want to do this last birthday shout out to happy birthday to Rivian. It's coming from your mom, your dad, and your sister's happy birthday. Is it Raven? How do you pronounce that, Mr. Medusa? Raven. Sorry about that, Raven. Happy birthday to you, coming from your mom, your dad, and of course your sisters as well. All the best to you. Happy birthday. All right, glad we did that, and now I think we're at the corner segment now.
Well,
open the lines.
I want to join my spiritual advisor in congratulating all of those young people. God bless them. May they be safe. May they continue to make their parents and the nation proud.
Absolutely.
And this is powerful. You may open the line.
All right, we're going to open the lines now. The lines are open. 323-7775. It's the number to call. 698-0775. 698-0776. Call us if you want to talk to us today. The lines are, in fact, open now. We got about 25 minutes to entertain some calls, so please call us. 323-7775, 698-0775, 698-0776. There's 22 minutes we got. All right, we got 22 minutes. Anything else, though? As we read some calls.
Yeah, well, folks, out of London, the Privy Council has quashed the case of a young man who had been convicted for murder. He was convicted for murdering an American citizen who showed up and met him and perhaps two other Negro citizens attempting to mug a woman or two, and in the process he intervened and he was shot. The American citizen was shot, and of course the police subsequently charged perhaps 3 Negro citizens, and in the case of this young man, according to the police, he had given a statement of confession, and outside of the confession there was no other evidence to show that, one, he was aware that his friends had a gun. The Privy Council was very critical of the local court, finding that the trial judge did not give the jury good directions, and the trial judge has found that...
We got some calls waiting.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live. Forgive me, Senator.
Good evening, Mr. Mancock. Good evening, Mr. Rule.
Yes, good evening.
And to your producer.
Yes.
Mr. Manco,
So,
when an American news reporter from NBC alleged in the 80s
that was the that was
high-ranking, you can hear me?
that happened on the 5th of September 1983.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, you need to turn your radio down a second, okay?
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, turn it down. It's confusing you. Turn it down and just listen to Mr. Monco.
I follow the plug.
Okay, great. Go ahead, Sandra.
Yeah. Some, what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
When the American news reporter from NBC alleged, you said it was 83.
Yeah, 5th of September 1983.
Okay. That high-ranking PLP officials in government is involved in the drug trade.
Right.
And one of the world's biggest drug lords is living and operating in the Bahamas
Yes.
on a key called Norman Ski.
Yes.
I told my friends that's a lie. But he may be right. Because what Ryan Tender and Dr. Michael Dowell is doing with the backing of the Prime Minister, who was the lawyer for one of the Caribbean biggest drug lords, who is now in prison, makes me wonder and concerned and suspicious what this PLP is up to.
What are you saying? Just hold
relates
that,
to what, though?
hold that Negro for a second. Every criminal, every citizen is entitled to an attorney and the best that he can afford. Lawyers don't represent saved people. I'm a saved man, so I don't need no lawyer to represent me before Jesus. But if I commit a criminal offense, I need a lawyer. So there's nothing slanderous or indecent of the Prime Minister representing any criminal.
It was slanderous. I trying to make a point.
Yeah, but make your point
I'll make it
without being
now.
slanderous.
By legalizing it this time,
Legalizing what?
marijuana, cannabis.
What is your point?
Some say they're using it for medical purpose.
Medicinal use, yes.
Some say it will generate money. And to make it worse, the Governor General told Parliament that my government will introduce a hemp industry.
A what?
Now, you should know,
What kind of
and should be
industry?
concerned,
What kind of industry?
I don't finish. Yeah. That hemp is much stronger than the regular marijuana the young people using now.
Okay.
Indian
It's
hemp?
twice or 3 times much as strong.
Yeah.
It is the dope that the Indians smoke before they go to war.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
So I am concerned that if they could handle it back in the 80s, you know, a lot of young people's lives was destroyed back then, walking like zombies.
All right, well, let me correct you. Are you open for correction?
Yes, sir.
In 1983, it had nothing to do with the smuggling of marijuana.
Smuggling?
Would you please listen to me?
Yeah.
In 1983, when Joseph Carlos Leader operated at
Right.
Romanski,
Right.
it had to do with cocaine smuggling.
Marijuana also.
Just listen to me. It had to do with cocaine smuggling.
And marijuana.
All right, you want to add marijuana and marijuana.
That's all right. Well, you know that, Mr. Master. I'm a little older than you. You know that.
I want you to listen, man. Watch what I did. I listened to you. Who
What is your
purchased?
point?
Who purchased the land in Norman Key for Joe Leader? Who was the lawyer?
Who's the lawyer?
Yeah.
I know the Colombian was operating, and when Norman Solomon told Parliament, people thought he was crazy.
Okay, anyway,
You couldn't-
you're not
you
listening.
couldn't go to that.
I'll have you to know that in 1983, the closest Negro friend that Norman Solomon had was me.
So you should know.
That's why I'm answering you. I'll have you to know that when Joe Carlos Leader bombed Norman Solomon house. There was only 2 persons who investigated it.
So you are telling me that
So I can teach
Joe
you.
Leader never deal with marijuana?
You're reaching for something.
Anyway,
we don't know what you're reaching
I
for.
thank you for your
so much,
comments.
caller. Yeah, thank you so much. Next caller, please. Welcome to Freedom House, caller. You're live. Go ahead, caller. I'm sorry for having you holding. Have we lost that call? Next caller, please.
All call for a second. In 1983, when Joseph Carlos Reed operated from Norman's Key,
Carlos who?
what they call him?
Reed. You can get sued.
When Carlos Reed,
No, Carlos Leader.
when Carlos Leader, yeah, but that's what made my name Carlos Reed as well. When Carlos Leader,
Yeah,
Joe Leader,
Joe Leader.
when Joe Leader operated in Norman's Key, Joe Leader bombed the home of the then opposition leader, Norman Solomon. There were 2 people who investigated that bombing. I'm not going to identify the second one, but I'm going to identify me. I was one of them. So I'm in a position to talk about it. Joe Leader, lawyer, happens to have been the late Sir Kendall George Lamont Isaac. When Pending Indoors challenged him over Joe Leader, Isaac made a political blunder when he said it was only a one-shot deal. Kendall Isaac is a man that I love. Kendall Isaac is a man that saved me from going to prison, because in 1985, myself and Philip Miller, we were charged for plotting to overthrow the Pinling and the PLP.
Insurrection?
We were charged with sedition.
Position?
I'm a revolutionary. You all don't know who I am. All right? And Kendall Isaac and his niece, Janie Thompson, they joined forces. Kendall Isaac saved me from prison and saved Philip Miller
Get some calls.
from prison. So the point is, perhaps tomorrow, I think I'll talk about Normanski, because I could teach you Negroes about Normanski. Answer the phone.
Yeah, welcome to Freedom House, caller. You're live. Good afternoon, caller. You there? Turn your radios down for us, please. When you call the show, please turn your radios down. Just listen to us. Welcome to Freedom House, caller.
That's
All right, let's try this next caller, please. Welcome to Freedom House, caller. You're live. Hello? Caller,
Next
you there?
caller.
All right, let's try another caller. Welcome to Freedom House, caller. You're live.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Turn your radio down for us, please, caller. Please.
Yes, how y'all doing?
We're doing well, thank you.
Yes, sir. I have a concern about
Caller.
the water.
Hold on, 1 second,
the-
caller. 1 second, caller, please. Could you turn your radio down for us, please? Turn it completely down.
And if it isn't,
Okay.
if it isn't
Sorry,
a radio,
sorry.
cut off your TV then,
Okay.
because you're being distracted.
Yes. How you doing? I live in an Nassau Village area,
Okay?
and I have a concern. I live in the back corner from the wash house.
Which
That's the
one?
wash off the highway.
Okay?
I live the second corner from the wash house in the back.
Okay.
I don't know if the people in the front of the wash house is concerned about that stinking water
What's stinking
that I
water?
see in the road from the wash house.
Now, be careful now, because the man who owned that wash house happened to be my cousin.
Okay.
You're talking about
Yeah.
the Aguilar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the water stink.
The water is very, very,
Are
very
you able to send
At
me?
night?
Are you able?
and they claim that that's the spring tide water that come into the drain.
Well, that might be true. All
Yeah.
it means is the Aguilar got to dig deeper.
No, let me correct you.
Okay.
It's not true, because on a hot, sunny day, no rain, how could the water come to the drain and
smell the Tide, the bleach, the Omo, the Joy, and whatever they're using in the water. How could only that corner, which I notice when I drive through every day, I live to the third corner from the washhouse. The people around there maybe not complaining, but the water is stink. It's terrible.
So you're saying that
And you can't run right through the water.
Oh, okay.
Gentlemen, if I could get your phone number and let me call you all when the water come up
I'm gonna
on
give
that
you-
road to that corner.
let me tell you what I'm gonna do for you.
You all can come there and bring the media. I'll appreciate.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do for you. You take my number, send me a WhatsApp location, and send me some pictures.
Pictures, yeah.
And I'm going to get together with my cousin Dionuncio de Aguilar, to solve that.
you know what he's suggesting, right?
Take my
been
number.
there a few times with the truck and pull the water out. I don't know what, if you think that will solve the problem, that's not solving the problem.
Take my-
Because just then leave, then that water come up, the same type of water.
Take my number.
Okay.
801
801
57
57
60. Send me pictures and a marker,
Yeah, pin the location.
and send me your name.
It's right in the back of the wash house.
Yeah, I know
I
it
live
is.
to the third corner from the wash house.
Send
Maybe
me-
the people are not complaining around there because maybe, I don't know why, but trust me, I don't know how it's making around there in the
You
night
send
time.
it to me, and I will talk to my cousin and have him clean that up.
All right, caller.
Okay?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
You will?
They probably would appreciate it.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That should be an easy problem for cousin Dionuncio de Aguilar
To solve.
to solve. He and I had a wonderful time at the F&M convention. He was so excited to see me. And when he realized that I didn't recognize him, he said, "Listen, this is your cousin Dionuncio de Aguilar." I said, "This is Dionuncio." He said, "Yes." I said, "But you look different." So he took off his hat, and then I was able to see all the gray hair on his head.
You have any more calls?
So send me a WhatsApp, and I'll talk to cousin Dionuncio.
Well, welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live.
Good afternoon, Special Advisor.
Good afternoon, sir.
And good afternoon, the good Senator.
God save the king.
Okay, well, we still on the marijuana listen.
Yeah.
Listen to the Senator. Because Miles Monroe died, bless his soul, and the Christian Council is weak. They look like they can throw everything at us with no disrespect or nothing. Then the Constitution say it got to be what is it? It got to be Constitution before you make a law on these things.
Yeah.
We need to ask them, are these things constitutional?
Who's in
And
charge?
Samantha, I want to ask you a favor.
Go ahead.
Please, when you see the good senator, the good minister, tell the good minister, fire up the National Intelligence Branch.
Which one of the
Because
ministers?
You know what I said?
Which one of the ministers you meaning?
No, I go on the main minister, the big Mean Monroe. How you say it? Honorable Mean Monroe.
Okay.
Tell them fire up the National Intelligence Branch.
Okay.
Because a lot of foolishness these people doing.
Okay.
Go and say, listen, let's say this far go. Go and say, listen here. And Joshua chapter 27.
Yes.
I didn't do all the fight now. All you all need to do is remember Moses' law. Joshua chapter 27. When all these people come in with all these funny things, all these different things.
Okay.
And God demand and clear day. Remember Moses' law.
Yeah, Moses'
And
law.
one more thing, I go on.
Moses' law is abolished, okay?
Huh?
Moses' law has been abolished, young man.
What the fuck is crazy?
Where you living? Where you living? We living under Jesus' law, man. We living under Christ's law.
Put your eyes up. Okay. But he give you another one, you know. He said, Joshua chapter 23, he said, remember Moses' law, but then he gave us our laws. You ain't got to forget that.
Come to the New Testament, man, okay? We gotta talk, man. You live in back 5,000 years, man.
Okay. We ain't got to do no blood sacrificing and all them stuff. You ain't got to do no lamb.
Yeah, Moses' law is gone, okay? We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay.
Take care. All right. Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live. Boy, is this man.
Hello.
I'm here to talk about stealing and
Repeat it again, please.
I'm here to talk about stealing.
I didn't
You
know.
want to talk about stealing?
Yes, sir.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
Sometimes when you in the shop practicing, then I don't have any stamps. When they stealing something, somebody might be watching.
Okay.
Okay.
Record it.
Right.
Okay.
Then when they walk out the shop, the people who were caught in my go to security and showed up the video.
Wow.
Okay.
That's powerful. We have to pray for them that they may change their minds and they will not steal. But it's a wonderful idea on your part. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much, caller. God bless.
Okay.
Take care now. Next caller, welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live.
Good afternoon, Spiritual Advisor and Mr. Manka.
Hello.
Mr. Manka, I just was wondering, all the people that was approved for the roofing by the government,
Approved
how
for
come
what?
you're not hearing anything about that?
Approved-
Even though they were approved,
For what?
all this weather was coming and hurricane coming.
Approved for what?
House, I think.
Oh,
Why you not getting a quick response with that?
listen to me, my dear. I didn't get it well. They were approved for what?
For roof improvement.
Oh, urban renewal.
Urban
yes,
renewal.
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Yeah, urban
yes.
renewal.
Okay, let me tell you what the problem was. The minister, Keith Bell, has the teams ready. And it's only a matter of him now having to cash the check. Okay?
Mr. Manka, with all this rain and all these people's house, roofs need repair. The government need to do a quick job and try to help the people.
Well, take it from me. I am in a position to tell you that homes are being repaired. Take it from me. But I shall go and look. I was looking for an excuse to go to Keith Bell's office. And I thank God that you called me. I will use your complaint as an excuse. And I'm going to go to his office and tell him what you say. How does that sound?
But Mr. Manka, I am talking about people whose application has been approved.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
we
I'm
understand
saying
that.
to you, I'm not supposed to be talking secret, but I'm in a position to tell you that he has gotten a check. And the check has to go through a process. But now that you called me, you have given me an excuse to show up at his office to tell
Thank
him
you very
your
much.
complaint.
All right,
Okay?
you're welcome, caller.
I thank you.
All right, take care. Welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live.
Hello?
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yes. I was listening to your show today,
Yes?
and I mean, you two guys are spinning everything for the PLP government. It's sad. It's the voice I've seen it.
Who should we talk for?
You should talk for the Bahamian people like you say you represent the Bahamian people.
And what is it that we did not say for the Bahamian people?
I'm saying that the caller earlier was telling you about, two callers was telling you about two situations. One,
Yes.
he was showing you that a certain government leader was involved with some stuff that was advantageous to the Bahamas. Now they're advocating
Yeah.
for
No.
now
No.
struggle for our Bahamian people. That's one.
So, I was an adult on the 5th of September 1983 when NBC dropped the scandal. Philip Brave Davis was not a member of Parliament to the best of my knowledge. He was not in charge of the government of the Bahamas. Lyndon Oscar Pinling was the Prime Minister, and Kendall George Lamont Isaac, if I'm correct, was the opposition leader. I played an active role. If you saw the book, A Nation for Sale, they have me in it. So I'm able to talk authoritatively. And then Norman Solomon, who swam to Norman's Key, came and informed the Parliament of his experience at Norman's Key. I happened to have been his political ally. And when Joe Leader ordered the bombing of his house, I was one of two Bahamians, independent of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who investigated the bombing. I'm in a better position than a lot of these people who are being,
Yes,
who
you
are being
are.
emotional. And Philip Ray Davis was not involved in that.
My friend, listen. You all along was crying for them not to legalize.
I am still opposed to the legalization of marijuana.
Now, just remember,
I'm still opposed to legalization of marijuana, but I'm not going to allow him to spin propaganda, because do not forget, it was the Free National Movement who first moved to legalize marijuana. The PLP was in opposition, and I took on the FNM. And when they appointed the commission to investigate it, only one person on the commission we know identity, and that is Bishop Simeon Hall and perhaps the then Health Minister Dwayne Sands. Other than that, they have hidden their names. So he is playing a game.
We gotta go,
Call me tomorrow.
Call us tomorrow.
Listen, folks, this is Freedom March. I'm a historian. I'm a participator. All right? I investigated along with another citizen who fired bomb, Norman Solomon House. God save the Commandant of the Bahamas. Lord, stop these erroneous FNM propaganda.